Hello friends, and welcome to tonight's discussion about two very similar beer styles. It hit me that, Sierra Nevada makes a perfect opportunity to kind of go and discuss the two different styles, because being that they're made by the same company, they are supposed to compare and contrast against each other and be representative of the style. Whereas, say, within two different brands, there's a lot more wiggle room involved. And what's the style I'm talking about here? I'm talking about Pilseners. Czech, this one here, Czech, Summerfest, versus Neuner, German style. So, what are some of the differences in between the Czech style? Well, let me give you a little bit of historical background on the Pilsner style to begin with. First, the name is derived from the town of Pilsen in what is Pilsen. I'm not sure how you pronounce it in Czech, but in German it's like Pilsen. In what is now the Czech Republic, which was sort of the region of the Sudetenland back before the end of World War II, which was an area that had both a large population of Czechs and Germans. So the Czechs sort of created this style, which was a very light, refreshing lager, and it became the hallmark of the area because of the soft water in the vicinity. It became popular, and other beer makers in Germany wanted to go and replicate it, but because they did not have Pilsen's soft water, they had far harder water. The outcome was quite different. Also, too, the types of hops used were different. While both Pilsners use noble hop varieties, the Czech style uses only Saaz hops, whereas the German style will use a large variety of different hops. Now, different noble hops. Now, what does that mean in the actual product? Well, the Czech style, because of the softer water, tends to be less carbonated. Also tends to hold more of a malt content, so it tends to be thicker and denser. The Saaz hops almost always lead to a more earthy, spicy quality to the hopping. And in comparison, the German style Pilsner is usually lighter, crisper, drier, and has a more floral and bitter sense to the hopping. So, without much further ado, we are going to go and pour these off before they get too warm, because you don't want a Pilsner when it's warm. So unfortunately, I don't have two Pilsner glasses. So one of them is just going to be a sort of regular craft glass, which is probably going to make the color differentiation different. So, in general, Czech is a bit darker than the German style, as it should be, being the heavier malt. Have a higher gravity is what beer makers would probably call it. Higher gravity than the German style. But I'm ranting. Let's just pour it off. So here's a Czech style. And the Summerfest. And here's a German style in the Neuner. seem to be quite white and frothy, so they're pretty much the same in coloration. The German style is a bit more fizzy and fast depleting. Coloration-wise, Czech style is slightly darker. You can probably tell from here. And that's even more apparent when I put it in a wider glass. Less light passes through. Carbonation looks visibly different, but that's more an artifact of the different glass styles. So Pilsner glass is supposed to kind of create that sort of champagne bubble effect. So smell. German, heavy on the grassy, floral, wet stone. You get more sense of the malts inside the Czech style. Unfortunately, it seems a lot of the nose is dissipated because of the wider mouth. Another reason why you use a Pilsner glass. But it's definitely sweeter smelling. A bit of earth notes to it. Okay, shall we taste? First off, what hits me is that they're both fairly light. This one is far drier. The hops are much more bitter. They're not bitter as you would have in an IPA or even in a pale ale, but they are still noticeably much more bitter. With the Czech style, there's a much more sweet crackeriness up front, followed by an earthiness, and just a sort of lingering sweetness towards the finish. A lot of earthiness, but not much in the way of bitterness in the finish. Just enough to kind of clean your palate off a bit. The German style is noticeably more carbonated feeling on the tongue. Far sharper, far grassier notes. If I was going to use a synesthesiastic tone, that this is a much more, has much more edge, whereas this is very round. There's much more distinctness in between front, middle, and back towards the German than there is in the Czech. There's more of a gradual shift in the Czech, in which I mean that the taste profile kind of merges into each other. What is the most distinct thing, I would probably say? I would have to go and say the dryness of the German compared to the sweetness. And it's not a heavy sweetness, but it is just so noticeable because the German style Pilsner is incredibly bone dry. grassy, dry, almost like a saltine cracker sort of taste to the malts. That's how dry, that whetstone and dryness there. Versus a more biscuity kind of malt here. Much more subdued hopping. So, which one do I prefer of these two beers that I have here? Well, I'm not going to make a judgment call on which style I prefer. One, because my taste and style can vary over time, climate, and, you know, as a spirit moves me, as one might say. That said, I'm going to have to go with a preference towards the Summerfest here. Why? Excuse me. That's because, well, the Nooner is just really, really dry. Which is good for a hot summer day and it's bone cold, you know, and you're having a really cold beer. It's good if you're eating some spicy food. But it's kind of one-dimensional, I find. You get a bit, your palate gets a little bit worn with that kind of dryness if you're really focusing on it, you know? Your mileage may vary. Despite the preference for the Czech, I would happily drink both. I am going to happily drink both. And whatever, you know, I'm not going to turn down both. Both of them are very good beers. And this is just sort of a discussion on style, differences in style. So, softer, rounder, bit sweeter, and I'm going to say gentler, versus a somewhat aggressive dryness and noble hopping. Distinct noble hopping. Now these are both very cheap, very affordable beers. I would highly suggest that you do your own comparison in between the Czech and German style Pilsner, as these probably cost less than $8 a six-pack for you guys up on the mainland. Very interesting to do a comparison to see the differences in style, and maybe go and pick up some true German Pilsners and some true Czech Pilsners. Always in a can, never in a green bottle, never in a green bottle. Green bottles are evil, green bottles are bad, green bottles mean stinky, skunky, cardboard beer. I digress. But get yourself a can of good German Pilsner, get yourself a can of good Czech Pilsner. You can find Pilsner Urquell in a can. Please send it to me because I really, really want to try good Pilsner Urquell. Excuse me. And have yourself a taste comparison of these two popular styles, similar styles, but yet still different styles. That's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers. Well, beer comparison for tonight, folks. Cheers.